call the meeting to order at, wait 3 seconds and call the meeting to order at 9:19. And we'll stand and do the pledge. Can you put maybe like a flag up there in the, there, look at that. Look how prepared. All right. Oh. Pledge allegiance
The flag.
to the flag, United States of America, to the republic, which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Approval of meeting minutes is the next. We've got 10:27, 11:10, and 11:20. The motion to.
Did we get those meetings minutes? I didn't see them.
Sure. They were distributed. They're on the website. I don't think we saw them come through.
I looked on the website. I didn't see them on the website either.
Yeah, they're up there, but if you want, why don't we have a motion to postpone this item to a date certain, should be our next meeting.
Yeah, I'll make the
time to
motion.
review it.
I'll make the motion
Second.
to postpone the approval of minutes of the meeting until our next meeting, which is on December 8th, 2023.
I'll second that. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So carried. There's only 2 of us. No dissent or abstentions to note. All right, so let's go with project updates next.
Okay, Mark Schweitzer with Colliers. Set this out, the milestone schedule. We have, the project updates is wrapped in a couple different things on the milestone schedule. For the AC projects, we have the additional funding request coming up on, we go to the Board of Selectmen first on Monday, and then we have a Board of Finance meeting on the Tuesday, contingent upon the approval of the Board of Selectmen of approving the additional funding. We got the informational packet to them yesterday. So highlighted in yellow is the ideal path for the additional funding request. If needed, I have on here the green is the next available regular meeting for the Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen, and RTM. So that is on there. At the last week, we got some bad news. The roof project for North Stratfield, the state did not accept the application. So we will be reapplying. We were supposed to get, they were supposed to accept the application. Then the plan was to get the approval by Christmas time and then go in for a PCR at the beginning of January and have the approval for bid basically mid-January. With them not accepting it, we will reapply in this month, December. So it'll push us a month. So we have the PCR for the roof on or about February 7th. And with that, we originally had part of the reason for that. We originally had the HVAC project going out to bid before Christmas. Not the most ideal time. We pushed that to the 15th of January, just so we'd catch the tail end when the roof does get approved in mid-February. We'll catch the tail end of bidding for that. So the blue sorry, let me take a step back. We've run two different scenarios here. One where we're going out to bid and we're just going out with, well, we're going out with the HVAC project, the roof and the 3 vestibules. And then we ran another scenario if we did not include the vestibules. So the blue is if we don't include the vestibules, and we'll get those done under a different means, under this project, but under a different means. But both scenarios have us going out advertised to bid on January 15th. We'll have the pre-bid site visits. And then we have, without the vestibules, we have it due the bid opening on February 15th, which is 4-week bid time. And then between scopes and all that, we'll have a draft GMP on March 6th and approval. We're shooting for approval of from the building committee on March 8th and the Board of Selectmen on the 18th of March. That's without the vestibules. And that's originally we had the Board of Selectmen approval on the 4th of March. So that's a 2-week delay there.
All right. We're getting the draft GMP. You're getting it on the 6th, and we're getting it on the 8th to approve.
Well, we'll have other drafts before that. Yes.
All right.
So Mark, that's going to be the final GMP?
Correct. And that'll include the roof.
Yeah, Rod, maybe what I was going to suggest is, can we maybe enter an interim submission, the original draft tomorrow, maybe before the final, like a week or so before?
Yeah,
I would recommend that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, right now, just take this as a target dates. There's obviously several variables. If the bids stay on that track, if there's no extensions, the scope reviews, obviously, we're allocated I think a week for scope reviews. Let me see where your scope reviews are. We could probably truncate that a little faster, make it 2 days. So there's still, these are target dates, good information. Definitely, we want to get it to you the sooner the better. So you have ample time to review it and make any corrections and any edits to it. Well, obviously, also we can send, if you want to, we can always send our qualification and assumptions in advance of the finalization of the numbers. We've done that in the past. And so at least,
yeah, that'd be a good idea, Mark. That's really, that's the stuff we're really looking at.
Exactly. So the numbers are the numbers. We all know how those going to add up and get marked up. So that's kind of the easy part. But maybe we can shoot over a draft to you guys in advance. But right now, take those as target dates. We'll continue to tweak and see how we track to it. Because like Mark said, there's a couple of variables here. This does not assume the vestibules. When you add the vestibules design and vestibules completion, I think the path is slightly different on that. So go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, the with the vestibules is the orange path because we need
PCR.
we need the PCR, and it is a little bit issuing an addendum to the bid and giving the bidders an opportunity to bid it. I believe we have 3 weeks here for the addendum, the extension of it, which brings the bid opening from, actually it's a 2-week extension from the 15th to the 29th. And then how it falls with getting the scoping done, getting the GMP approved by the building committee, and then going in front of the BOS. The 18th is real quick to do that. So we're targeting April 1st. And these dates, and again, the town doesn't have published BOS dates. This is kind of going off 1st and 3rd and kind of what they did last year. So
And I believe, Mark, you didn't factor in any special meetings. Like if we hit
Correct.
it, for example.
These are all based on regular meetings.
Right. So we can adjust, this is to the group, if we're done with the GMP, let's say on a Tuesday, or we're targeting being done on a Tuesday, maybe have a special meeting with this group, so at least you have a chance to review it. Maybe we could have a meeting on Wednesday and then another one on Friday. So whatever works, we'll adjust to that when the time comes.
Yeah, Mark, let's just make sure we incorporate in the schedule adequate time for the committee to review, respond, we modify. We never get anything approved on the first time. I mean, so.
No, I totally agree. Totally agree. So this is
Got to
kind
work
of
that into the time because it does eat up schedule.
right.
And
This is
understandable.
Okay,
While
where
we're
are we?
cramming with the boards on the town side for this one, it would be nice to not necessarily cram those schedules in too tightly, because it is not atypical to have something progress, a little slower, like a 2-month sort of window on some of these other boards. So we just need to, similar to now, we thought we were in November, we're in December, and maybe our will turn into January by the time we're done. We just need to, we need to be cognizant of that. And the Board of Selectmen might be easy for a special meeting, but nobody else is going to be.
Where are we with the design drawings?
I talked to Jesse, he's printing them on Monday, so they'll go to us and to Gilbane on Monday. And he's also gonna drop them at the building officials and the fire marshals on Monday.
All right, let me correct you. That's gonna go to you, Gilbane, and us.
Yes,
So that's
Is
happening.
Jesse on our call? Is he one of the callers in by chance? One of the calling users?
So that's gonna happen on the 4th.
yes.
Yeah, Mark.
I do have a
Jesse,
question.
confirm if he's on the call. Just curious.
Do we know if the hazmat is going to be part of that package?
No, it will not be. They
Do
don't
we
have,
have-
well,
Why is
Lee,
that?
the PO for the hazmat is in with approval, so we should have that in the next day or two.
Didn't we approve this 2 weeks ago?
It's been a month. Yeah,
Why is it taking so long?
Change orders in, it's sitting in finance.
The change order is in, it's sitting in finance for approval right now. I'll check in on it today.
Yeah, please do. Well, not going out to bid until January, right? If everything goes smoothly. So we can still add it.
Yeah, the only challenge with that one is just how we approach this. What they find, I guess. What are the findings? I think it was Osborne was the one that was a bit tricky as far as what's above the ceiling. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sal, I think Sal is on the call. So that's the only one that could be a bit of a complication there, is how we're going to approach abating those ceilings.
Yep.
And when we do it. So the sooner you get there, if it's preliminary, Mark, shoot it over to
Yep.
us just so at least we know what's there. It's really, really important. That piece it's kind of an unknown right now, a little bit. Okay. Let me know when it's appropriate to introduce Tim Martigran with Gilbane. I know he's on the call and people probably asking who this person is. So
good as time as any.
Go for now.
Unless- unless there's other questions on the schedule.
No, I'm good.
You can introduce them now. I mean, go ahead. Yeah.
thank you.
I was
So-
wondering, but public meeting, so anyone could show
I
up.
know.
so.
No, I
Don't ask too many questions.
No, that's
But yes, please go ahead and do that. Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Tim, you may want to unmute yourself. So Tim Martigran, a project manager with Gilbane, he's going to be assigned to the project. He's actually a Fairfield resident. They're also excited to introduce us. So the team here might be just everyone maybe introduce themselves to actually Tim, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself and, to the group. This is the building committee of Fairfield Schools.
Yeah, so I'm Tim Mastragran. I'm actually a resident of Fairfield. Moved here, bought a house in 2019. So been here for a little bit. I'm actually I was a past employee of Gilbane, so I worked in the city for a little while, a handful of years ago. Just kind of got back in with the firm, and this is the project that Amar was discussing with me. So I was very excited to get the opportunity to do some work in my own town. So very excited to join the team and, you know, start a journey here.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so we're on the project updates side. Mark, do you have more to continue with on this?
Nope, that is,
Or Rodney, any other questions? Appreciate that on the timeline.
No, I'm good.
The only question I have is, I don't know, Mark, if you asked it or not, is the vestibule design, the deliverables for that. We might as well kind of touch base on that a little bit. I don't know if you hit it or not, as far as when the documents, the preliminary documents are going to be issued, and how, I'm assuming that's going to go to the entire group, and then when the CDs or the bid docs are going out.
we have the final set for the security coming out on January 5th. And the draft this Friday. Well, yeah, next Friday.
Okay.
All right, so can you scroll down there just for one more second on your,
Did I go the right way?
yeah, back up a hair. Okay. Okay, I'm good. So this is something as well that if we're gonna, likely be going, back, obviously for, we are gonna, we're going to have to. And we can talk about it under our board prep, but it's something we're gonna need to kind of bring up next week as well, I think, so that they're aware. So we can talk about how to manage that, but having to go back twice for, even though they're separate projects, having to go back twice for being over is the way it's probably going to get viewed. So I think we need to sort of just talk about that. So, but all right, we're good on the update side. Then let's move on to discussion, item number 4, discussion and potential approval of commissioning shortlist.
Now, Mark Schweitzer, Colliers, just so it's out there, we want to acknowledge that Colliers Project Leaders is one of the submissions for the commissioning. So Chuck and myself will be recusing ourselves from any discussion on the commissioning submittals.
Thank you.
On that subject, Adam, is there a conflict of interest here? So I know when my design team does a project, I can't bid on it for a municipality.
So I think because Chuck and Mark are it is a little bit of a tricky situation, but I think because they're recusing themselves, they will not be voting on this. I think it's okay.
Well, they're not voting on it anyway. Just as, yeah. So can you check on that for us
Okay.
or make a determination today?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that as long as they are not offering any unfair comments and not voting, then it is acceptable. There's nothing specifically in our, conflict of interest language that I can think of otherwise that would have to do with a consultant, assisting.
And that includes your new purchasing guidelines.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, recusal from the meeting and participating, commenting, anything to that effect, obviously is one factor, but it's more, I think, to Rodney's point, literally, can you actually be on several, layers? So, okay. So short listing wise with 6, are we looking to do, I guess, and add that guidance? Is it 2, 3, 4? Like, where's our, what recommendation on what a short list, number wise would look like?
So I would
list being that
recommend,
they're going to come to an actual meeting and discuss it, I guess. So,
yeah, I would say our target should be 3, but if there's a 4th that's really compelling, or if there's only 2, that's fine. But I would say 3 should be the target to
that
shortlist.
many.
Well,
Okay.
I've narrowed it down to 3 with a 4th on the outside.
I'm in a similar position. And to be clear, we did, I'm scoring at a total of 85 points without the numbers on this. We had the actual proposals, so I didn't include the fee piece, which I'm going to take a stab at it and assume that had something to do with maybe Collier's being in the overall mix, or just it was a flip up, but there was only, and they're not on the website either. So
that was my understanding.
I don't know if Adam, you're aware, but just so you know.
Yeah, we kept the
I don't see a problem with
separate.
that.
Yeah, we did this as a what we call a 2 envelope RFP, where you score based on the qualifications first, and then we'll open the fees, and so
Just fine.
that was intentional.
Personally, okay, just making sure we're all on the same page. I agree with that. I don't like the little bit of world doesn't necessarily get you this, the best, and this is a pretty complex project. So want to get the right people and then at the right number and then get the right job done, right? So all right. So do you want to, I guess, go through what our order and scoring is?
Yeah, I had
first, Rob? Or
I
you
had
want- yeah, you can go.
Van Zelm at 83. Sustainable Engineering Solutions at 83. Innovative Engineering Services at 83. And Collier's at 83. So if I had to eliminate one, it would be Innovative Engineering Services. The only one with Fairfield experience as far as commissioning that I could see in the proposals was Van Zelm Engineering. So
So I'm similar, although I guess I'm a little harsher. Everyone automatically loses like a point whenever I go to score these, it seems. And then I go from there. No, nobody's perfect, I guess is the theory.
I have the same, but I was a little more generous when I
Harsher.
scored these 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was.
So I've got Van Zelm at 82. I've got Sustainable at 81. I've got Innovative at 80. I've got Collier's at 80, and then I've got Safari at 76 and Procon at 75. So I got harsher here and further down, but I've you know, so I think in this, we've got, yeah, I think it's sort of a, you know, clear 1 and 2 and,
Yep.
and to Rodney's point, a third slash, you know, fourth on the outside. So that's why I was asking about, you know, is it 2, is it 3, is it 4, is it,
Right.
you know, how do we, Chuck, I'm fine that you're here. I think just to your notes question about fully exiting, it'd be harder to actually have you come back in slash, you know, but it just from a recusal standpoint, since it's virtual, just no, just as if you weren't here, works for me. If we were in a meeting physically, I'd tell you to walk outside and that'd be a true recusal, but you know, it's fine. And it's a public meeting either way. Everybody could be in the room and it wouldn't matter. So, you're not a voting member. So, so, um, so Van Zelm and sustainable are definite in the short list, and albeit different. The question is, based on the scoring here, we kind of have 4 to come in, or we keep it up at 2. So,
For sake of,
right.
expediency, I'd probably narrow it to 2.
And that's, so I know it doesn't do what you were, but now you understand maybe in part kind of what your question was, Adam.
Yep.
At least as far as what mine scored, and it seems sort of on the same end. Are you all right for, you know, with the, you know, with going with the 2, or are we looking at wanting to bring, you know, bring the 4 or have a discussion related to settle the 3rd or 4th spot?
I don't feel super strongly, as long as we've got at least 2, you know, this is your committee, you know, if you think
Okay.
it makes the most sense just to do those 2 top, you know, they're cumulatively the 2 top scores, I guess, so. So that makes sense. So I'm fine with it if that's what you want to do.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you weighing in. Just trying to keep you guys happy too. Respect that role, committee or not. So on our end, I would, I'd ask for a motion on the shortlisting. Rodney, if you'd like to make that motion then for the 2.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to shortlist 2 firms. Van Zelm Engineers and Sustainable Engineering Solutions LLC, to prepare a presentation and attend a meeting somewhere in the future.
And that, and is there any further discussion?
No.
Okay. And just on my end, is purchasing gonna reach out and then let them know? And what's the process there, just so I understand? And then who will, is it, you know, Colliers or purchasing, let them know when our meeting date is?
Yeah, we'll look at the calendar. Do you have a rough time frame for when you'd like to? Or I guess looking at the, would that be
I
on
mean,
the
we
calendar?
meet mostly Friday mornings. This one we'll do, I'm gonna we'll add a hybrid option, but something like this, I'd like to have them in the room and do that. So, near term, if they can do, are we still gonna be able to hold next week's, Rodney, on your end? next
Yeah,
two.
But they want
Yeah.
the vendors in person.
in person or virtual?
Look, I'm a huge one on doing virtuals as often as we can. Are you comfortable with this being done virtually, or do you want them in the room for?
For meetings such as this, I have no problem doing it virtually.
Okay. Then,
Oops.
can we try to get them in for either? I mean, if we do next week, if not the following,
Okay, we'll talk to them, but
we'll hold the next two. Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page. You mentioned hybrid at first, but we can tell them virtual's fine.
Yeah, no, I was noting that more just yeah, for this, if we're gonna do an all virtual, we'll do an all virtual meeting, and we'll do an all virtual meeting, and the 8th or the 8th or the 15th, whichever one you can get them both on. And our 9:15 time, and if you run into a snag for whatever reason, but I don't see that being a problem.
And then
Yeah,
just
let
in
them know to
terms
be
of,
virtual.
in terms of timing, what do you think? Like 30 minutes for like 30 to present, 15 for questions. So like, what do you think for these types of services?
No, I would say 20 and 10.
Okay, so
Yeah, I
30
agree with
minutes.
That's
you,
fine.
Rod. For this one, it's pretty straightforward, for a commission agent and virtual just for, it's not like an architect or CM, virtual's been pretty successful for commissioning agents, to be honest.
Okay.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
Or David, do you think less?
I defer to you guys, actually. On this particular type of item and this will be my first, so
Let's set it
you
at
think
30.
virtual
If
and
we go quicker.
2010 or whatever is fine. That gives them a half an hour. We can,
That's a
if
good
it's
time.
less, it takes less. It's fine.
Time to meet amongst. the
Oh,
board.
yeah, sorry, just one more question. So the 9:15 start time, do we want to, should we put a buffer there for you guys to meet as a committee first? So say like a 9:30 start time for the first presentation, or?
Yeah, let's do that, because it always takes a few minutes.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so why don't we do 9:30 and then 10 as the two start times? We'll tell them it's a 2010 window. If it's anything like the way these normally go, they become slightly more fluid anyways, and that's fine. And we'll do the next two meetings as of now, we'll assume are fully virtual. So you just let us know which of the two you can get both of them on.
all right,
Or-
we'll try to take care of
you
that today and let you guys know as soon as possible.
Perfect,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll, that's the discussion point. So let's formally vote on the item now. So I had the motion, and so all in favor of the
Aye.
short list?
Aye.
And there are no others for abstentions or voting no. So the motion carries. Thank you all. And thank you, purchasing, for your work on this. We appreciate it. Next item is the discussion of presentation to boards of selectmen and finance. On that item, they have the initial round of backup information. My guess would be that when it goes to the BOF or down the line to RTM, that there may be some amount of information that grows. So far, I know of no other requests of information in advance for the Board of Selectmen. But there's definitely been a little bit of just flipping between the administration sort of lag, where there's a number of different people in a number of different spots where this was clearly coming, but then we're a bit caught off guard by it. And I think that, again, I think it's sort of the last few weeks. So with that, I'm planning to today or tomorrow to try to reach out to the chairs of the two boards and just make sure that you know, any smoothing over of that, particularly I think BOF. And you know, I think that we've sent that they now have that. There was some questioning, there's some back and forth yesterday, you know, getting the bond council and the resolution and whatnot, which included for the agenda, but it does appear that that is that's fine, and we should be moving forward. So the question for here is if there's any other sort of prep or you know, anything along those lines you want to discuss. There's a running point on different aspects or anything to be said, then we can, you know, we can discuss that now. I think we're pretty, what my take is, we're pretty well buttoned up, and we've done sort of a couple of early, you know, discussions at other levels about this. So I'm not overly concerned, and the chips, not to sound not as over, you know, absurdly prepared for it, but to some degree we are very prepared, and the chips are going to fall where they're going to fall. And you know, when you get in these meetings, no matter how prepared you are, they're going to ask what they're going to ask.
Yeah, I agree.
Anybody not committee, but consultant and at all sort of have anything, you know, regarding, you know, heading into Monday that they want to bring up or anything along those lines, or everybody's prepared to be there and has all their people prepared. Yeah, Mark, go ahead.
Just, it's a similar format as the previous presentation, you know, as far as the order, if you will. I know Jesse's not here, but I'm assuming he's going to be there and talk about the design and everything else. So it's going to be very similar format that we did for the Board of Ed, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'd like to sort of take it as that. I'll prepare a brief remark to start off with, I think on my end, in advance, but I'm going to be structured and brief, and you know, and just to kick it off, and then my goal was to turn it largely over to you know, yeah, you know, Jesse did very well at the Board of Ed and really was able to you know, to sort of carry a lot of it. And because I think his you know, his area on that speaks very much to what's occurred. And you know, to that next extent, you know, I want to let them ask away.
I see, Mark, you have, this is the package. I see you have our cost breakouts and all that stuff. So we'll
Correct.
speak to that. So yeah, no problem. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I have the summary, and then I've included your whole estimate at the tail end.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I
Let's-
may, as over the weekend, as I kind of dive through it again, if I have some questions or something, I may lob an email out. I've gotten better about scheduling emails. If I fire off an email at, you know, 3 a.m. or something on a Saturday night, but in this case, I probably won't schedule for Monday morning. I'll probably fire them all off, knowing that some people may be working, whatever. I just throw the caveat that and it's sort of my whole adult life on the being a firefighter, I'm sort of just always used to my brain working no matter what hours and having no boundaries, and then politics did that to me too. So don't take it as you have to reply back to me immediately on Sunday morning or something like that. I operate with no barriers, and I know some people do, but I'll put it out there because as obviously we're heading on Monday, you know, we're heading to do this, that if somebody is sitting at their desk working, feel free to. So I'm just putting that out there so that no one's like, I've got to get back to them right now.
I was gonna say, don't be surprised if you get an answer back at 3:10.
You know, I've been known to reply to emails at, you know, wake up, read phone, go back. I'm horrible habits, but either way, I just wanted to throw that out there. So,
Forgive me if I ask a follow-up question, just so at least, I'm contemplating
Yeah.
maybe bringing in maybe Mike Barrett, Chuck. I don't know your thoughts on that. Do you think we're gonna get into those little details, or you think it's gonna be more of a higher level conversation?
I recommend bringing them. It's like preventative maintenance. If we don't, there's no
Exactly, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
then we don't. It
Yeah.
seems like if we're ready for it, it doesn't come up, and then I'd rather be in that position.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I
listen,
agree. I'm just trying
We don't want to
to,
lose time
And-
because they say go back and give us information, you know?
And
Yeah,
David,
and
correct me if
Mondays
I'm
we
wrong,
gotta go. Oh, no, go ahead, Rod.
just the BOS is more high level, and as we get down to the Board of Finance, that's where you're gonna get.
That's where the
Nitty
weeds will
gritty.
come, yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
So-
no, it is. And even if you look at their theoretical, scope, though everyone sort of does what they want. It is. The only comment I would make is that anyone, and I agree with bringing somebody, anyone at any time can ask something. And we have such a tight timeline, literally rolling to the BOF the next day, that we better prepare to answer it to the point that at least they approve it or. Yeah, we don't want to give the BOF an edge the next day on slowing it down. We want to make them feel like everything came out of the Board of Selectmen, buttoned up and, yeah, so let's bring everybody, but I do want to try to keep it higher level as much as we can. And I think that this is, in a lot of ways, this is, and you go back to our Board of Ed approach, this is higher level. What has occurred, the reasons why, where we're at. This isn't, there's a kind of a broad reasoning as to why we're coming back asking for more money. And the question of doing or not doing the projects, approving, things like that is also at a higher level that goes past the committee when it goes up to the waterfall and cash flow side. Can the town afford it, and when can they afford it, and how, let them make those, let them make those decisions. And again, it's sort of where it lands, it lands. And to that, I would also bring up, and I spoke yesterday with central office, and they're going back and forth, work the town side finances, and then also on the Board of Ed, they're all updating their cash flows based on the timelines. I believe, Mark, that you were reached out to about that as well. So we've got all that in motion, and so there's a bunch of moving pieces around all this that did sort of, as much as we've been talking about for a long time, did sort of come together pretty quickly in this window for a variety of reasons. But I think we're on a good path at
Thank
this
you.
point.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, and thanks for everybody for rallying here. So so I'm good on my end from a prep perspective. I don't know if anybody else has anything, but
I'm good.
okay. And Ronnie, you'll be there as well Monday, right? It's on your calendar. So
Yes, I'll be there.
perfect. Thank you. So when we get to the on the committee people, you're more versed on this side, the technical and past committee side. So I appreciate that very much. So I'm more somewhat and the finance government guy. So thank you for that. So, all right. Nothing else on this agenda item. We're gonna move to the approvals.
And you can keep moving. Oh, no,
I was gonna say, right?
Yeah, I didn't see any.
And the next one is gonna be new business. Do we have, I don't think we have anything that's technically under new business. Yeah, Chuck.
Yeah, I do. Just wanted to, this is something that kind of fell off the radar probably from the committee. And Adam, I think last week, I believe I sent over draft recommended contracts for Gilbane finally. It took us a little while going back and forth, and we apologize. Sent over for legal review for their comments. You know, I was thinking, Rod, you might want to take a look at those too. If I didn't copy, I can send those to you if you want to go through. You know, I should have copied you. I'll send those to you right after this. Within the Word documents, it has all the comments and any markups. If you know how to use track changes, it'll have all those in there. And again, these are recommendations. We really kind of go back to what were the previous contracts we've used with Gilbane. So that's a lot of the precedent that we're recommending. So just wanted to mention that to you. Hopefully we can get those finally wrapped up and, you know, executed.
Yeah, and just to,
Thanks, Chuck.
you know, it's already been kind of touched on today with the administration change. There's a new town attorney. And I've had a couple email exchanges, but I haven't actually met him yet. But, you know, I'll do my best to sort of present that case that this is just you know, this is how we've approved these in the past, and hopefully he won't have any, you know, concerns or issues.
Yeah, and if they have any questions, I know Mar and I are happy to meet with them and walk through if they have any questions. And of course, anybody else can, of course, join that as well. So yeah, we're here to help and expedite that in any way.
David, do we have any idea when we're getting another member?
I don't actually. I'll put a little bit of time into that over the next few days. I've had a couple
Great.
conversations, but and I know others are. But I don't yet. And I think part of that is the new admin, but it's also that there's tons of back and forth, just people trying to find, you know,
Yeah.
a person, the right person, you know.
The only reason I say that is we have to finalize our schedule for 2024.
Yeah,
So
we
it's all
have,
of that stuff.
I believe we have, well, we have a couple of weeks before we hit 24.
Yeah.
And I think we even have in the beginning of 24, we have up until the end of, if I remember the way that, I remember, if I remember the way that, I'd have to try to find the FOIA letter. We have to, well, we have to submit by, send me a meeting schedule, and yeah, we have to send it in no later than the end of January. So we actually, if it bleeds into the January meeting, even to the point of the RTM meeting doing the approval, I believe that we can still hold meetings. That would be a question. Can we, I'd have to look if we can do.
Probably special meetings, right?
Yeah, and I'd have to look if we can, I'll get clarification as to how, because I have a feeling it's a good shot that it's gonna go into January for their approval. But I'll get clarification as to how to handle not, you know, if you get into January, is it considered special if we continue our regular planning before we get the vote or not? So I'll get clarification how to handle January, but I would hope we have somebody by the end of January. So it's a non-answer answer. And anybody else have new business? Not on here, but we can do it under new business. I'm always a fan of public comment. We don't actually, I think, have anyone on here that is from the public, but oh, we do actually. And although technically ex officio of all would be Selectman Vitale's on the list and one other call in. So if there's any comment under public comment that wants to, this would be a time for that. We can certainly add it. I've got nothing. So, all right. So let's go to the last item is adjournment. If I could have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
All right, and I'll second, and that's an all in favor and none opposed or abstain. That, so we're good, all in favor, and both raise their hands. Aye.
Yes.
So passes, and all right, Well, thank you, everybody. I know we had a larger group today here. And thanks for everybody for joining this Friday morning. Have a great weekend, and we'll see all or most on Monday.
Yes. Thank you.
Have a good weekend,
Good.
folks.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Everyone.